July 21st, 2025 at Sasebo Kurajima Pier in Japan, a sleek vessel rests in silence. Not a relic, but a veteran. It stands tall, still gleaming after decades at sea. On this day, during an open house event, crowds gather not just to admire it, but to witness the closing of one chapter and the beginning of another. For this warship, born in Japan's post-Cold War era, is about to sail under a new flag, the Philippine flag. The ship? An Abukuma-class destroyer escort. The mission? A second life in service of Philippine sovereignty. And the stakes? Nothing less than the defense of freedom in the stormy waters of the South China Sea. Welcome aboard, Pinoy Guard. Stay with us as we uncover why this handover may signal the beginning of a naval turning point, one forged not in steel alone, but in alliance, strategy, and vision. This is no ordinary ship. It's a destroyer escort, a war-tested vessel of the Abukuma-class. And it's being transferred to the Philippines. What does this mean for the armed forces of the Philippines? What message does it send to China and to the world? Stay with us, because this handover may change everything we know about Philippine naval power and what lies ahead in the stormy waters of the South China Sea. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest on Pinoy Guard, your frontline for defense and security updates in the Philippines. Commissioned by the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force between 1989 and 1993, the Abukuma-class destroyer escort was born in the final days of the Cold War. Designed for anti-submarine warfare, the class was fast, quiet, and well-armed for its size. Displacing 2,000 to 2,550 tons, stretching 109 meters long, and capable of speeds up to 27 knots, these ships carried sonar systems, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, Mark 32 torpedo tubes, Odo Malara 76mm naval guns, and Phalanx CIWS turrets for last-ditch missile defense. And even after more than 30 years, one thing is clear. This ship, seen during its final open house in Japan, looked better maintained than most active Philippine Navy vessels today. With Japan phasing out all 6 ships in favor of the more advanced Mogami-class, the Philippine Navy now has a rare opportunity to absorb a fleet of proven warships at virtually no acquisition cost. This transfer isn't happening in isolation. Over the past decade, Japan and the Philippines have forged a stronger defense relationship. From the donation of TC-90 training aircraft to the delivery of patrol vessels for the Philippine Coast Guard, Japan has been one of Manila's most dependable strategic partners. Now, with the signing of a reciprocal access agreement and intensifying maritime exercises in the region, the transfer of the Abukuma-class warships reflects a deeper level of cooperation, a signal that Japan is ready to support the Philippines not just in humanitarian missions, but in hard defense. This is the first time Japan is expected to transfer major naval combatants since World War II, and they're going to the Philippines. The stakes couldn't be higher. The South China Sea, an arena of gray zone aggression, swarming tactics, illegal structures, and creeping militarization. Here, the Philippines is under constant pressure. Chinese Coast Guard ships shadow Filipino resupply missions. Militia vessels blockade access to sovereign reefs. And Beijing continues to assert its 9-line claim despite international rulings. The Philippine military's response. Rehorizon 3. This final phase of the AFP modernization program shifts the focus from internal security to external defense. Under this roadmap, the Philippine Navy aims to become a credible maritime deterrent force with blue water capabilities, long-range sensors, anti-ship, and anti-submarine power. And this is where the Abukuma-class enters the equation. These ships, designed for anti-submarine warfare and blue water patrols, fill a crucial gap. They don't just defend coastlines, they defend sea lanes. Deterrence begins with presence, and these vessels extend the Philippine Navy's reach hundreds of miles into contested waters. Here's what makes this deal even more extraordinary: the cost. This is not a purchase. It's a government-to-government transfer. Japan is offering these ships as part of its strategic security assistance, deepening trust with Manila and counterbalancing regional threats. While the acquisition itself is virtually cost-free, the Philippine Navy will need to spend on transport, retrofitting, and training. Total estimated cost? Around 200 million pesos per ship, or roughly $3.5 million US. That's still a bargain, considering a brand new vessel of similar capability could cost between 12 to 18 billion pesos, or 200 to 300 million US dollars. Possible upgrades may include integration with Link 16 communication for real-time data sharing, overhaul of Harpoon missile systems and CIWS turrets, compatibility with Philippine Navy radar and combat systems, spare parts assistance, possibly with Japanese defense contractors or retired JMSDF personnel. Even with modest investment, these ships will be able to operate effectively for another 10 to 15 years, bridging the gap until newer, domestically built or foreign-ordered ships are delivered. Traditionally, the Philippine Navy was designed for coastal patrols, swift vessels, low endurance, limited armament. But times have changed. Today, the threats are far beyond the shoreline. Submarines lurking in deep waters, warships conducting innocent passage patrols, and electronic surveillance platforms probing Philippine communication networks. The Abukuma-class represents a doctrinal shift. These ships are not just patrol boats. They are naval escorts, capable of leading convoys, conducting long-range ASW patrols, and operating in blue water conditions. Their presence in Philippine waters signals one thing. The Philippines is no longer just defending its coast. It is defending its future maritime domain. What message does this send? To China, that the Philippines is upgrading, asserting sovereignty, and refusing to be isolated. To allies like the United States and Australia, that Manila is ready for deeper interoperability and long-term naval cooperation. To the Filipino people, that modernization is real, that their sailors will no longer rely on outdated World War II relics, but on platforms worthy of the mission. Expect these ships to appear in Balacadan exercises, in trilateral patrols, and potentially in crisis response missions near Scarborough Shoal, Unjin, or the Bashi Channel. Each deployment will be a statement of readiness, resilience, and resolve. Of course, there are challenges. These are aging vessels, over 30 years old. Maintenance costs could rise. Spare parts may become scarce. And some of the original Japanese systems may not be compatible with Philippine infrastructure. But these risks are manageable. With proper training, industry support, and integration planning, the Abukuma-class can serve for another decade or more, buying time for the Navy to modernize further under Rehorizon 3 and Rehorizon 4. There's one more aspect that numbers and systems can't measure: national pride. Imagine this: Filipino sailors walking the decks of a Japanese-built warship trained in JMSDF doctrine, holding their heads high as they patrol the Philippine EEZ. For many of them, this will be their first experience operating a ship of this caliber. And for the country, it sets a new standard of discipline, capability, and professionalism. This isn't just a transfer, it's a transformation. MGA Cababan. Do you believe the Abukuma-class can help secure our maritime future? Will this move change the game in the South China Sea? And are we, as a nation, ready to level up our naval defense? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you stand with Philippine sovereignty and modernization, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more defense and security updates here on Pinoy Guard. This is your host, always ready, always watching. For flag, for fleet, and for the Filipino. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.